Hey guys, Gizmoddict here, and today I've finally got my hands on the iPhone SE 2020. So while this phone has been launched in India, I inquired with a couple of Apple stores locally and barely any one of them has stocks for the SE 2020. But still I was able to pick one up for you guys. So today in this video I will be unboxing the SE 2020 and we'll also do a hands-on review of this phone. I also have a detailed PUBG review coming up, and this phone is too good when it comes to PUBG. So if you don't want to miss that out, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. But first, let's get started with the unboxing in today's video. So the iPhone SE 2020 comes in a box that is similar to any other iPhone. You've got a picture of the phone on the front, you've got the iPhone branding on the sides, there is an Apple logo on the top and the bottom, and then when you turn the box to its back, you'll see some of the specifications as well as the box contents that are there inside the box. As you can see, I have the 128GB variant because let's face it, 64GB is too less for 2020. This one retails for 47,800 rupees, but you do have a cashback offer on HDFC cards. Then you can also see that this phone, the iPhone SE 2020, is assembled in China, and this one is imported in India, so some people will definitely write ban China comments, can't really help it. Anyways, let's jump inside the box and see what we get. So here, as you can see, first of all, you have this piece of cardboard in which there is a quick start guide, there is some warranty information, and you also get Apple stickers. That is the highlight of every Apple product unboxing. So even here you get the white Apple stickers. Below that you've got the iPhone SE 2020, and this is one of the smallest phones that I've used in the longest time. So here, as you can see, I've got it in the black color. You have three options: black, white and red. I really wanted to get the red variant, but unfortunately the stocks weren't available, so I just had to pick the black one. As you can see, it looks identical to the iPhone 8 and it feels very light and compact in my hand. So apart from the iPhone SE, we've got a power adapter, and this is a 5-watt power adapter. This is a 5-volt 1 ampere power brick, and it's a shame that Apple is charging you almost 50,000 rupees and still they are giving you a 5-watt charger. If any Android phone manufacturer was going to do that, people would be screaming at them right now. But it's Apple, they even do this with their expensive iPhone 11, so can't really help it, you get a 5-watt adapter. But this phone actually supports 18-watt charging, so you'll have to buy that separately. And then you also have the Apple EarPods. Now this is good because none of the Android phones give you a pair of earphones inside the box, and these Apple EarPods, a lot of you guys would have used, they are really good in quality. So yeah, you get Apple EarPods, and below that you've got the lightning to USB cable to charge your phone and to connect it to your PC. So that's all you get inside the box of the iPhone SE 2020. Now let's keep everything to the side and get to the phone itself. So here's the iPhone SE, and like I said before, this phone is so tiny. This is literally the smallest phone that I've ever used in the longest time. And here I'm showing you a size comparison with the iPhone 11, and then with the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and then with the Galaxy S20 Ultra. You can see that this phone is so much smaller in comparison to the iPhone 11, and then when you compare it to the 11 Pro Max or the S20 Ultra, it looks like a dwarf in comparison to these phones. It's very compact, and the dimensions of this phone are exactly the same as the iPhone 7 or the iPhone 8. So if you like that size, then you will love the form factor of the iPhone SE 2020. But a lot of time what happens is that when phone companies shrink the size of the phone, they make it smaller, they reduce the price, they also do a lot of compromises in terms of the performance, but Apple has not done that. So the iPhone SE 2020 gets the Apple A13 Bionic processor, which is the same as the iPhone 11 and the 11 Pro. So that's crazy because for almost half the price you're getting the same processor. And here you've got 3GB of RAM, and the performance of this phone is insane. I've been using it since the last one day, and while I was setting up everything, installing apps, downloading things, doing multiple things at a single time, it was able to handle everything easily. And even when it comes to gaming, I played PUBG for an hour or so, and this phone can handle PUBG at HDR plus extreme. So 60 FPS at HDR, and it gives you constant 60 FPS 99% of the time. If you go down to smooth or balanced, it will not go below 60 FPS. It is at 60 FPS all the time, and even on HDR plus extreme, the game looks so beautiful and you get a constant 60 FPS frame rate. So the performance is just insane. I don't think any other Android phone except for 865 devices can come even close to this phone when it comes to the gaming performance and the normal performance. So on the inside, Apple has done a tremendous job, and when we talk about the outside, it's the same as the iPhone 8. You've got that same glass back, plus you've got a metal frame, so the phone feels really nice and premium in the hand. It's seriously one of the best feeling phones in the hand, plus the fact that it's so compact and it's so lightweight, it makes it very handy and very easy to use. It's a refreshing change to have such a compact phone after a long time, and I love the form factor of the iPhone SE. If only Apple would have trimmed down the thick bezels on the top and the bottom, and they would have given us a more bezel-less display like the iPhone 11, I would have really loved that. But talking about that display, this is a 4.7-inch display. It's roughly a 720p display, and it's an IPS LCD display. But the thing is, compared to the IPS LCD displays that you get on budget phones and things like that, this is a much better panel. The quality is on par with the iPhone XR and the iPhone 11, and the colors are really good. The overall viewing angles are good, plus this display also gets Dolby Vision in Netflix. So that is also something that you only see on iPhones. So yeah, the display is good, but of course if you're gonna put this in front of an AMOLED display from the OnePlus 8 or the OnePlus 8 Pro, of course those displays are better. But this is not bad. It's a good display. The quality is on par with the iPhone 11. At the bottom of this display, you get to see the home button, which makes a comeback after a long time. So this is your typical iPhone 7, iPhone 8 like home button, where this is not a button, it is actually a sensor, and you can select the sensitivity of this sensor. It's a very tricky thing where it's not a button, but when you press it, it feels like a button. If you've used an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 8, you know what I'm talking about. And this houses your Touch ID sensor. So Touch ID also comes back on the iPhone SE 2020. And it works really well, especially when all of us are wearing a face mask recently. I think Touch ID is a welcoming change and a lot of people will like it. It is very fast, it works as it should, and I personally did not have any complaints with Touch ID. The iPhone SE 2020 also has a stereo speaker setup, and these are one of the best speakers that I've heard on any phone. So you've got stereo speakers, you've got the Touch ID sensor, and if I do a physical overview of the phone, the power button is on the right hand side, the volume rockers are on the left, and you also get the silent switch. On the bottom you have your microphone, your speaker, and you also have your lightning port. I wish Apple switches to USB-C very soon. And on the back we've got that single 12 megapixel camera with a noise cancellation microphone and an LED flash. If I talk about the camera is like the iPhone XR, but because you've got the Apple's A13 chipset, the performance is going to be somewhere between iPhone XR and iPhone 11. So the 12 megapixel sensor here, I'm showing you a couple of shots in comparison to the iPhone 11, and in daylight and in indoor lighting conditions, both of these phones perform very similarly. It's honestly very difficult to figure out which phone has clicked which photo, and the iPhone SE also gets a portrait mode on the rear facing camera. But because you've only got a single camera, this will only work on human objects, and it's a software based portrait mode. But still, in daylight and indoor lighting, the performance is almost similar to the iPhone 11. It's only in low light that this phone does not get a dedicated night mode, so because of that, iPhone 11 is much better than the SE. But then still, for a price tag of 40 to 50,000 rupees, this is gonna be one of the best cameras. The only thing I would miss is a wide angle macro or a telephoto camera. But another advantage of iPhones is that they take one of the best video in the smartphone space. So the specifications for video are the same on the iPhone SE 2020 as the iPhone 11. You get HDR video up to 30 FPS, you can record at 4K 60 FPS, you've got optical image stabilization as well, and the video quality, as you can see in the small sample, is very similar to the iPhone 11. The iPhone cameras have great dynamic range when it comes to video, and I will be doing a detailed video on the video recording performance of the iPhone SE. The video has always been damn good on the iPhones. If I talk about the front facing camera, here it's a downgrade from the iPhone 11. It's got that same 7 megapixel sensor that the iPhone XR has, and here you can record up to 1080p videos. Once again, they are stabilized, but you cannot record at 4K. iPhone 11 can do 4K 60 FPS videos even with the front facing cameras. But the cameras do seem very promising on the iPhone SE 2020, and I can't wait to compare it with all of the other iPhones as well as the Mi 10, the OnePlus 8. I've got all of those devices, so you will see detailed comparisons very soon. Then finally, let's talk about the battery life on the iPhone SE 2020, because that's going to be one of the most questionable things about this phone. Apple has put in, I guess, an 1800 mAh of battery on the iPhone SE 2020, and you might think it's too less, but batteries in iPhone work in a different way. You don't need that huge of a battery to give you as good of a battery life as a 4000 or a 5000 mAh Android phone. So my iPhone 11 has a 3100 mAh of battery, which is once again damn small by Android phone standards, but that phone gives me 7 to 8 hours of screen on time on a daily usage. So I'm expecting that the iPhone SE would at least give me 4 to 5 hours of screen on time. But now let's see. I will be putting my main SIM card in this phone, setting up all of my accounts and using it for 4-5 days, and then I'll be back with a detailed battery analysis. But I think battery might be one of the weakest points of the iPhone SE 2020. But still, if you're an average user, you should be able to get through a full day. Apart from that, if I talk about some other things, you've got 18-watt fast charging support here, but you'll have to buy the adapter separately. You also get wireless charging here, so if you want, you can just throw in your phone on a wireless charging pad or in your car, because a lot of cars lately do support wireless charging too. And we also get IP67 rating for water and dust resistance, so somehow if you manage to put your iPhone in water or something, it will not get damaged. But don't do it on purpose, you might just mess it up. The iPhone SE 2020 also supports video out with the lightning port. So if you have the lightning to HDMI converter, you can mirror your screen to your monitor, to your TV, and potentially also connect it to your game capture card. In terms of software, as of now, the iPhone SE 2020 is running on iOS 13.5, which is the latest iOS version, and it's very similar to any other iPhone. If you've used iOS before, you will be very familiar. You'll feel right at home here. The only difference that I saw here was that in all of the new iPhones, you have to pull down from the top right for the control center, but here, like the old iPhones, you have to pull from the bottom to access the control center. That's the only major difference, plus you've got the home button, so a lot of navigation happens with the home button. But apart from that, it's literally the same as you see on any other iPhone. The performance is great, iOS is very optimized, and I don't have any complaints about it. So yeah, overall I think iPhone SE 2020 seems to be a very promising iPhone for 45,000 rupees. I feel that a lot of people might buy this phone because everyone wants an iPhone, and the fact that this is cheaper in comparison to the newest iPhone like the iPhone 11 starts at 75,000 rupees. So this is much cheaper. This is almost 30 grand cheaper. So I can see a lot of people going for it. Plus there are a lot of people who want a compact phone, who don't want a big phone. So for them, this makes a lot of sense. So my initial impressions of the iPhone SE 2020 are pretty positive. I'm really excited to test this phone out, and I want to see how well I get used to this small display. I have played a couple of games of PUBG, and I definitely think I'll take some time to get used to this display. But let's see, I'll be switching to this phone as my primary device, and I will be back with a full review very soon. In the meantime, I'm going to be making comparison videos with the Mi 10, OnePlus 8, iPhone XR, iPhone 11. So a lot of videos are coming to the channel soon. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and press the bell icon. A detailed PUBG review is already in the works. I'll give you guys the FPS data. I'll give you all the data that you need. So don't miss out on that as well. As of now, this is all I have to say about the iPhone SE 2020. If you guys have opinions about this phone, what do you guys think about the iPhone SE 2020? Please let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed watching this video, then please hit the like button. And if you didn't like this video, press the dislike button twice. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I will be back in your notifications very soon. Peace.